Today's date is the 28th of November 2023. I'm here with former Marine, I've been told once a Marine.
Always a Marine.
Yes, sir. Anthony Johnson. Anthony, where were you born and when were you born?
I was born July 7th, 1984, out of Anniston, Alabama. I joined the Marine Corps out of Maryland, Landover, Maryland.
You had moved to Maryland with your parents?
Yeah, I moved to Maryland as a child.
What did your parents do?
My mother is she's an administrative assistant, and my job my father's job is a chef.
Okay, were they working for the government or private industry?
Currently, my mom works for the government, the State Department.
Okay.
But mainly, private industry.
Indeed, indeed. How many siblings? How many brothers and sisters?
I'm the oldest of. I have three. Yeah, I have three brothers and two sisters.
Outstanding. And where did you attend high school?
Surrattsville High School. I actually left high school early at 17 before we graduated and joined the Marines.
Were you in JROTC?
I was in Surrattsville High School as Air Force JROTC.
Okay.
But the Marine Corps was for me.
Okay. What drew you to the Marine Corps?
Whew. When I was in 6th grade, I don't know how old you are in that, maybe 12 years old. Yeah. We were driving to North Carolina, my family, and I remember my mom saying, "Oh, we're about to pass Quantico. That's the Marine base." And I said, "You know, what's a Marine? What's a Quantico?" And she's like, "No, they crazy. You know, just stay away from them." And from that day, I knew I wanted to join the Marines.
When you went into the Marine Corps, what year was that?
May 19, 2002.
2002, so that's just before the second Iraq War.
Yeah.
So you're in the Marine Corps after 9/11?
After 9/11.
Yes, yep. Indeed. When you went into the Marine Corps, where did you enter? What base?
Parris Island, South Carolina.
What was that like at Parris Island?
It's life-changing. It changes definitely forever.
And you were 17 years old?
I was 17 years old. I was actually the youngest Marine.
So when you come in, what did they do to you? First day?
First day, you're not allowed to eat or sleep for 72 hours.
Wow.
And that's how that's pretty much your introduction. And that's after 72 hours, there's no sleep. You know, the truth starts coming out. They pretty much do your entire... Everything that you said on your enlistment contract and forms, they go over it back again to make sure you were telling the truth.
Wow. So you mean to tell me you can't eat or drink for 72 hours?
No. They gave us food after like the 48th hour, but you're definitely not allowed to sleep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was training like?
Training, it was hardcore, man. It was the Marines. You learn honor, courage, commitment, and everything that it takes to be a Marine. They break you down to the point where you just like, I don't want to do this anymore, and they build you back up from that.
How many miles did you have to hike?
Oh, in boot camp, you hike 3 miles. Okay. But I've been on a hike that lasted 7 days.
Wow. In
Japan, in Okinawa. Not Okinawa, sorry. That was Fallujah, Japan. We got on trucks, we got on the highway, they drove us out for like 7 hours on the highway, and then they told us to walk back.
Oh, wow.
It took us a week.
And you have your pack and everything on your back?
Yeah, you're packing everything, man.
And how are you eating?
MREs, meals ready to eat.
Yes, indeed. What was the food like in the Marine Corps, apart from the MREs?
Oh, the food was outstanding, man. I was stationed in Hawaii. So all of my buddies were the chefs. I probably shouldn't say this, but on like every weekend, they would get food from the chow hall, and we would grill it outside. We'll go get drinks and stuff, and we'll have a nice little barbecue. So every Saturday and Sunday, we were eating steaks and chicken.
Amazing. Let me ask you this: was there any racial prejudice in the Corps that you experienced?
There is, but is kept under wraps. And the reason I say that, the thing about the Marine Corps, once they find out that you're not getting along with someone, that's your new roommate.
Okay. So they force you to kind of get along.
Yeah. you're gonna learn to be brothers out of it.
So what's the relationship between black Marines, white Marines? Did it make a difference?
No, every Marine is green.
Yes, indeed. Let me ask you, what is the difference between Marines from the North and Marines from the South?
Oh, them Southern boys, man, they're patriots for real. There's no doubt, no question about that. They're super gun ho. But I could even say the guys from the Marines from New York, them folks were like super crazy too. Because when we were in Iraq, we would jump from roof to roof to roof, and when you're on the roof and you jumping and it's a gap, I did explosives. I would look down and be like, hold on, I got explosives on me. I'm not trying to fall. We might.
So what kind of explosives did you have on you?
C4, TNT, blasting caps, mainly C4.
So your job was to blast into areas to prepare charges to.
Yeah, I would open anything that stopped the forward movement of the infantry company. They would call me up to figure out a way so we can get past the obstacle.
Is that what you call a sapper?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. And and I would come up with an idea. Most times, not all the time, but most times, it involved with creating some type of explosive charge.
Indeed. So when did you first get to Iraq? Did you get to Iraq at the beginning of the war or later on in the war?
I went through Iraq, Battle of Fallujah. And the Battle of
That was a
Fallujah,
big battle in
Yeah,
that was General Mattis that was in charge.
Mad Dog Mattis. And the Battle of Fallujah, reason
Why did they call him General Mad Dog Mattis?
Oh, General Mattis, he always had a famous saying, and he would say, talk respectfully and peacefully, but have a plan to kill you.
Yes,
that was one of his sayings, and another one that I really liked that he would say is, I come to you in peace, but with tears in my eyes. If you fuck with me, I'll kill all of you. I think that's why they call him Mad Dog Mattis.
Did you ever meet him?
I did actually. He came out to Marine Corps Base Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah, very tall.
Okay, how was his personality when you meet him one-on-one?
I didn't meet him one-on-one, but in general, I mean, he was a general.
Yeah.
And he held, and not only a general, but he was a Marine Corps general. He's the commandant of the Marine Corps. So all of those things that you would think of, a personality and all of those things, you could see it in him, you could hear it in his voice. When he spoke, it motivated you, to go to the ends of hell and back,
Yes, indeed. So when did you get, when you got to Iraq, did you first go to Baghdad or Fallujah?
Oh, no, we drove from Kuwait. We started in Kuwait and we drove straight to Fallujah.
Okay. And when you're going up to Iraq, did you get any resistance?
No. Once we pulled into Fallujah, they had us in these tents, and as soon as we set up in those tents, we were mortar-fired.
Okay, so the Iraqis were sending mortars.
They weren't Iraqis. They were insurgents. But yeah.
Yeah, but what about the people in the area? Were they friendly?
We're Marines, man. We always say the Army do peacekeeping missions. We're here to clean things up. Okay. So we really didn't interact with too many civilians, as Marines. We used to always say, the Marines have landed. The situation is well in hand.
Yes.
So by the time we get there, it's a mass evacuation, and it's like letting the dogs off the chain. So it's not too many civilians around.
So they left?
Yeah, we evacuated them.
And what weapons did you have?
I'm sorry?
What weapons? What personal weapons?
Shoulder fire, multi-purpose assault weapon, the small 9mm and M16 A2 service rifle.
Okay. Did you use any rockets?
Oh yeah.
What rockets did you use?
We had 3 different rockets. We had an anti-armor rocket. We have a hyperthermic rocket, and we had a high explosive rocket. I can tell you, No, I probably shouldn't say that.
Well, I mean, you can only tell me what's not confidential, what's publicly known.
Well, I was in a lot of battles, put it that way. And when you're in, there's rules of engagement, right? There's rules of war and types of weapons and ammunitions that you're allowed to shoot at people.
Okay.
So, like, for example, we had an anti-armor rocket. Obviously, you're not going to shoot an anti-armor round at an individual person.
Yeah.
We were pinned down pretty badly, and there were about a group of people, maybe five to seven folks, and they were shooting at us, and we were pinned down in this house, and so we used one of the thermal rockets, thermal hypothermic, rounds, and we pretty much shot that at the crowd that was shooting at us with AK-47s, and all of a sudden the shooting stopped. We looked out the window. Where'd they go? I don't know. I don't see anything. All I see is a black spot on the ground.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Let me ask you this. You said about one time you were without food for how many days?
3 days.
Because what happened?
We were our resupply was pinned down and cut off. So we were out of food and water for 3 days. And we saw a chicken running around in the streets. And it was about 10 of us chasing that chicken with our M16, bow, bow, trying to get the chicken. We finally got that chicken, and that chicken fed our whole platoon, about 50 of us.
Amazing.
Chicken and rice.
Chicken and rice.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. So you were in the battle of, how long did the Battle of Fallujah last?
I want to say we probably was there about, say 90 days, roughly.
90 days.
Yeah.
And then when the Battle of Fallujah was over, did you go back to Baghdad or go back to Kuwait?
When the Battle of Fallujah was over, we secured the Iraqi elections. Yeah. So we were closer to the Sunni Triangle, a small town, and the election security for that.
Yes. And so once the election was over, you left?
Yeah, we left the second day after the elections were over. We left.
Okay, and that's, you went back to Hawaii or came back stateside?
We came back from there. Yeah, we because originally we weren't supposed to be in Iraq. We were a Marine Expeditionary Unit, Special Operations Capable, 31st MUSOC. So we ended up back on our ships, and from Iraq. We sailed to Phuket, Thailand, for R&R, rest and relaxation. And then from there, Japan, and from Japan back to Hawaii.
What was it like in Phuket, Thailand?
Oh, Phuket's amazing, man. It's a small island, a beautiful island, very beautiful people inside and out. They speak Thai, obviously, but you don't need to know Thai to get around, man. They take care of you.
Nice.
Very beautiful.
And let me ask you this. Did you get hurt during the Battle of Fallujah?
I've been hit by several IEDs, but thank God I didn't have any physical injuries.
And when you say IED, that's the
improvised explosive devices.
Improvised explosive device. So you've got different battle commendations and medals and stuff?
Yeah, almost definitely. Okay. The one I'm most proud of, the Presidential Unit Citation.
Okay.
We got that for finding service the air missiles behind this guy's couch in his house, in his living room.
Amazing. He had service to air missiles like the Strela, the Soviet Strela?
Yeah, exactly. To take out an airplane. He had it in his living room.
Okay. Was he Sunni or?
I can't speculate. Okay. I just call them all insurgents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So did you ever go to Baghdad and walk around?
No, never went to Baghdad, but we did stay in one of Saddam Hussein's palaces.
What was that like?
Oh, it's big. It was amazing. It was a palace. It was nice. And while we were in Fallujah, we also stayed. We was clearing the city, so we stayed in. And when we shut it down for the night, we would just pick a house and. We'll try to pick the best house, and we'll stay there for the night. And so, yeah, I stayed in a lot of mansions in Iraq.
So, what were the different postings you had in the Marine Corps?
So I've been to Okinawa, Japan. I've been to Korea. I've been on the Korean DMV of North Korea.
Did you ever see the North Korean soldiers?
Yes.
What are they like?
You don't want to run across that border, I can tell you that. They don't play, man. No emotion, very disciplined, you can just look and tell, like, it's not a fight you want to pick with those guys over there,
How long did you stay in Korea?
We're in Korea for about 2.5 months, maybe. It was freezing in Korea.
Oh, it was cold.
Oh, yeah.
Winter months.
Yeah.
Did you go around through Seoul and?
Yep. Seoul was awesome, man. Yeah. Oh yeah.
How do Koreans treat you?
Oh, Koreans are good people.
Yes.
They're great. They're great people.
Yeah. How's the food?
The food was good, but I mean, as a young American, you other places. Yeah, you experiment with other cultures, but you want a steak, man. You want some American food. Where's Outback at? I remember eating the Outback in Korea.
There's an Outback in Korea?
There's an Outback in Korea.
And then what about Japan? How do you like Japan?
The same, man. The Japanese, I mean, Okinawa, it was good. I would say in Okinawa, they're accustomed to having the military there on their island. But when Tokyo is a little bit different of a culture, you can tell they're accustomed to having people from all over the world there in Tokyo. But Fuji, that was a little bit different. I would say they really don't like Americans or having the military there in Fuji.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you came back to the States, you got out of the Corps when you were back at Paris Island.
When I got out of the Corps, I came back to Maryland. Yeah.
Okay. But there's no Marine base in Maryland, is there?
No, the closest one is Quantico. Actually, I take that back. Yeah, 8th and I, that's in Washington, D.C.
That's the Marine barracks in D.C.
That's the Marine barracks.
Yeah. But you never served there, did you?
No. The whole mission of the Marine barracks, by the way, is to really, you have a force that can serve, that's walking distance, really, or marching distance to the White House in case the White House or the Capitol ever got attacked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if you were talking to a young person about the Air Force, because you're an Air Force, well, I'm not sure you're an Air Force GROTC, but to choose one of the services, which service would you say you should join and why?
I say if you're smart, go in the Air Force, but if you're gun-ho, going to the Marines. Okay. But if you want to do like intelligence type of work, like CIA type of stuff, go into the Navy.
Okay.
You notice I didn't recommend the Army at all.
How do people in the Marine Corps look at the Army?
You know what Army stands for? Ain't ready for the Marines yet.
Ain't ready for the Marines. I never heard that one before. That's a new one. The Marine Corps is like almost a brother or sister of the Navy.
It is
because you ride Navy ships.
Yeah.
So how do you get along with the Navy folk?
Oh, we get along great with the Navy. The Marine Corps is the department of the Navy.
Yes.
But I always joke with people. I say, yeah, we're the men's department.
What do you think? Talk about men's department. What do you think about Marines in combat who are female? Does that work?
Well, but women aren't allowed to have combat roles. Okay. However, they serve it's kind of crazy because they serve every other role in the Marine, and every Marine is an automatic rifleman.
Yeah.
So a woman Marine can definitely end up in a combat type of situation or combat role.
But when you're in Fallujah, they were not there with you.
No, absolutely not.
Just males only.
Yeah, but when we secured the election after the Battle of Fallujah, we had 2 female Marines, WMs, women Marines, attached to us.
Nice.
And that was to do the pat down of the females.
Well, listen, Mr. Johnson, I just want to thank you for your service and give us a little bit of flavor of what it was like to be a Marine. Talk about MREs, talking about flavor, which is food. Mm-hmm. MRE stands for Meals Ready to Eat. Yeah. What was your favorite MRE?
Anyone that had Italian or pasta. Any pot. In fact, I used to walk around, well, not walk, but inside of my flat jacket, I used to, because this is like the hottest part of your body, and in the MREs is a packet of cheese. So I used to keep it like in my chest.
Okay.
And sometimes when I would open my flat jacket, like all these packages of cheese
Would fall out.
would just fall out, and be like, "Why do you have cheese like falling out of your chest?" And I would say it kept it warm,
Okay.
so it keep it melted. So when I'm ready to open it, it's already melted. All I can do is spread it on my bread or the spaghetti, and man.
So your favorite MRE was spaghetti and meatballs?
Spaghetti and meatballs, man. That was my favorite.
What else?
Or beef ravioli.
Beef ravioli.
There you go.
But you don't have like a whole steak in MRE.
Oh no, absolutely.
all-
Well, they have a meatloaf MRE,
Okay.
and you can the way you learn how to be an MRE chef.
Okay.
So you'll take the meatloaf MRE, you'll chop that up. It comes with crackers. You crunch the crackers up. You put that in there. You got a packet of jalapeno cheese. You put that in there. Oh man, that's good eating.
And you eat that cold, or you have to warm it up?
Oh, you warm it up. You MREs taste like trash cold. You definitely want to.
So
warm it up.
how are you going to warm it up then if you don't have a pot?
There's an MRE heater,
Okay.
and it's a piece of plastic, and there's magnesium, like a magnesium kind of like in this little filter, and it's at the bottom.
Okay.
You put the MRE in on the side. You fold the plastic to keep all the steam in. You put water in it, and then you fold the plastic, and that magnesium was going to start boiling, and you let it boil for 5 minutes.
So you're basically using chemistry to boil your food.
Absolutely.
Because it's not an open flame.
No.
Because, I mean, if you're in combat and you have an open flame, that's going to reveal your location.
That can give you away your location.
Amazing.
We used to take sometimes.
So there's no smoke or steam or anything?
No. That's why you fold it, and the little smoke that is, it evaporates soon as it goes in the air.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I mean, by the time you're eating an MRE, it's about 200 folks around in a circle. Who's not gonna notice 200 people?
Yes.
I tell you, we used to make, it was called an MRE bomb, and we would take like a plastic bottle, like a Sprite plastic bottle. We'll take a couple of the MRE filters in it and put it in the bottle. Take a couple of bottles of Tabasco sauce that comes in the MRE too. Put all the Tabasco sauce in there. Fill it up with a little bit of water and close it, and you got a little mace bomb.
Oh, wow. Would it explode?
Oh yeah, and it explode. And if you're in the closed room, it's going to be just like someone
Tear gas.
like sprayed mace in your face, because that Tabasco, it gets all in your pores, it gets in your eyes. You got a real live bomb.
Amazing. Well, listen, Maureen Johnson, this was a fascinating interview.
Semper Fi.
Yes, sir. I learned a lot. Semper Fi. God bless you.
All right.